Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another evening of racing, and we find ourselves at round 14 of the third season here at the Formula One Championship, brought to you by Lightspeed Racing. And today, even though I apologize for the game pause, you know how it goes with this, we have a special guest, and hopefully he will not be a guest and just be a well-known face in the upcoming weeks. We have the pleasure of sharing the commentary booth with none other than Taz, as you know, on the simulator. Well, not simulator. I just used a very bad word there. On the Formula One game, Tyan, welcome to the broadcast, man. It's awesome to have you here with me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tony. It's an absolute pleasure to join this evening. Absolute pleasure to be a part of the LSR commentary team. I've been watching along for many weeks now, and you do a really good job here, and it's an absolute pleasure to join you here this evening and to watch these lads go around the Monza track. It's going to be some very tricky conditions, as people can see. It is full wet conditions here, and I think that will be moving on to the race, so it could make the race a bit more treacherous than usual, with the cars being a bit more unsettled in these wet conditions. But yeah, I'll just give the people a quick recap of last week's race around the Paul Ricard circuit in France. We had qualifying, which Lou Pasteur came out on top in that, with A. Lewis, which is on my screen, Alfie, and Steadbody came in P3. Moving on into the race, Steadbody didn't have the greatest of opening laps, dropped all the way down to P17. As in Formula 1, we did get some safety cars. They came in at lap 13 and also lap 22. But Steadbody was the biggest gainer through that, had a great race in the end, managing to move himself up onto the podium, but after penalties managed to get a P4. Reg, the current championship leader, did manage to get a P8, but it's not his usual outing, as Reg has won 4 races. He's had 3 P2s and he's had 10 podiums. Trappy, who I don't think is here this evening, has basically handed the championship, I feel, as long as Reg gets a good result here this evening, to Reg. So Reg could definitely take the title here this evening. Constructors wise, we have McLaren sat at the top, leading AlphaTauri by 115 points, and then Mercedes come in P3. I really see the constructors battle being mainly for P2 and 3, with the top 5 all being very close on constructors points. But yeah, McLaren again, as long as both drivers get a good result here this evening, they could take the constructors championship. So McLaren have it all to play for this evening, Tony.
Indeed, they do. Let's see how they perform on qualifying. But I think the first thing we should do right now is take a look at this amazing qualifying lap that has just begun for Ian Beale, heading into the first variante della Rotafiglio. Unfortunately, on the wet side of things, it is not going to work as intended. I do have to say, it's going to be good practice, because with Monza, not the easiest track to drive around, especially that turn 1, once the red lights turn green, could be deadly. As you can see, Ian Beale taking very early braking zones and still outbrakes himself through Variante della Rocha, heading into the 2 left modes, the double right-hander. This first one a little more sharp than the second. Mistake from Ian Beale, who's out of the track already, and he's just leading the way for, if I'm not mistaken, that would be Helvius. No, it's not Helvius Salmon, it's not who's actually smoked Whittle. This went through last mode too, so let's just finish the lap with him. Approaching the toughest corner of the track, the incredible Ascari. That's some really late braking, and to be honest, very brave to go so hard on the curb in such wet conditions. As you mentioned, you know the curbs, they're as slippery as they can get. And Smoke Whittle is putting some good work on it.
Yeah, very deadly. I know Smoke Whittle currently he's a controller driver, currently made the move to manual driving, manual gears, so hopefully he can put a good lap here. We've got Lou Pasteur set the standard so far. He's going to cross the line for 129.933. Great lap in these wet conditions. No Lou from a previous league. Very, very good driver. And hopefully will look to take the win here. But Reg, as we know, the championship leader, will look to take the win. But in these tricky conditions, maybe Lou Pasteur will come out on top. I'm just on board with Joester currently, and he is currently going through Ascari at this moment in time. Looks pretty pedestrian going through there. Gets up onto the curb. What is his lap time going to be as he heads down now to the Parabolica? Could this be a top 5 lap from Joester? He rounds the Parabolica now. It looked so much slower than it, Tony, in these wet conditions. Very, very... Just, I mean, there's at least a 10 to, I'd say, 15-second time difference in the times, maybe even a bit more in these wet conditions. But Joester moves himself up into P9, just behind Ryan McLean. The laps are flying in right now. I will move on down to Stead Body. Stead Body currently going through Del Rifitilio, and then he's going to move on to the Curva Grande, and then he will head on down to the Della Roggia. If I pronounce the name wrong, people, I am so sorry, but we've got a few people in the chat. We've got Apocalyptic Weasel saying, "Go Taz, thank you for the support this evening." We've got Jamie Matthews saying hi, interesting, wet, yeah, very interesting. People saying it's going to be a walk in the park for Red J. We've got RC as well, another lad who I know from the previous league, saying yes, Taz, what's going on? Very well, sir. We've got Original Wolf as well in the chat this evening, all looking forward to this one. Hopefully the boys can put on a really good race for you lads watching along this evening. We've got 8 people watching along. If you haven't already, smash that follow button, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get the alerts for whenever we go live here. But interesting to see that Stead Body is actually on the Inters, where I think we've seen the rest have been on the full wet tyres. So track conditions must be getting a bit better. Pro Stevens, Ryan McLean, Sajek, if that's how you pronounce his name, all on the Inters, where the rest of the grid have all gone onto the wet compounder tyres. And looks like the Inters aren't paying off if Stead Body can only manage a P11 there. So I think the wets are the tyre to be on at this moment in time, Tony.
Yes, it is raining quite heavily, and to be honest, we are seeing the performance ratio. As you can see, the top 8 conquered by all wets. Here you see Helvius Gavin is about to go on a flying lap. And let's do a little bit of analyzing. You can see lots of puddles. As you can see, the break consumed 50 meters before the dry one to get the car to turn around properly through variante de la Reta Figlio. Heading into Curva Grande, still flat out, not too tough for these incredible, enormous pieces of absolute magnificency. The Formula One cars each year, they surprise even more. I do have to say, they're very, very long cars compared to what we used to see 20 years ago. It's night and day. That certainly changes the way races go. Back in the day, we used to see lots of side-by-side action. A little more tougher nowadays. Helvius Gavin is keeping himself quite comfortably on a good lap now, using the ERS power to his advantage. Careful with Ascari again. You cannot take lots of curves in here. There you saw Helvius using quite a bit in the mid-corner, and unfortunately, he lost a little bit, but thankfully for him, the car is still alive. Let's see what he can do. A Parabolica braking at the 75 mark. Keeping a very tight angle on entry. Waiting for the throttle input to go full on. And Helvius Gavin is just going to put a lap on the board. That's going to bring him up to P730.760. Very good lap. Luke Pascu still the man to beat. And here you have somebody that is actually not going to go for a lap. He had full energy, but I think he's going to retire those wets. We'll see how the conditions progress throughout the next 7.5 minutes. And so we must check on what's going to happen on the race itself. We don't know if it's going to dry out, if it's going to stay wet, if it's going to be absolute pandemonium. One thing is for sure, when the red lights turn green, turn 1 is going to have to be the most important part of the whole race. Keeping yourself alive without anybody outbreaking one another is going to be crucial.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be crucial. Turn 1, even in dry conditions around Monza, is a very, very tricky corner for the whole grid to kind of judge. I feel that the back of the grid, obviously, they take a lot more pace, and I feel they don't really break as early sometimes, which can cause a lot of collisions. But Luke Pascu flies across the line and improves by nearly half a second, moving himself down to a 129.437. I tell you what, Phil Skills is doing a really good job putting himself P2 with a 129.996, but Luke Pascu just showing his superior race pace in these wet conditions compared to the rest of the grid. half a second to his closest rival, as A. Lewis has also gone across the line and he's gone in with a 1:29.945, taking P2 away from Phil Skills. Great lap from A. Lewis. But as I say, these wet conditions could play a massive factor in the race. We all know, if you've raced Monza in the wet, turn one, if you miss that braking point, you could collect a fair few cars, and we could definitely probably see a safety car in turn one, but we don't want to wish that on the guys. We've got a few more people in the chat now. We've got Jay having a bit of a chat with Wolf, another guy from the league. Great to see people showing the support here in the stream for LSR and having a bit of chat. Hope you are all enjoying this race. We've got our joins. Yes, Taz, lad, enjoy the opportunity. Yeah, I will do, don't worry. Thank you so much for showing your support in the chat for me. It's great to hear and great to see. But Lee Pastry will definitely be making his way back into the pits, as he has invalidated on this next lap. So there he goes, he is into the pits. We've got Phil, we've got Oberloff Racing also out. He's just started his lap now in the Haas. What can he do? Currently sat in P4 with a 1:30.066. We'll keep an eye on him. I have the track data enabled. We'll see if he can find any improvement now as he goes through the Del Rafili. I can't even say it properly, but now he's heading through the Curva Grande. I've not got the Italian.
He's just going through corners. That's it. Don't you have to worry about that.
He's just going through corners. He's just going through corners. But he's moving on now, heading up to turns 4 and 5 that will be very tricky in these conditions. Easy to get out on that curb on your left-hand side. He will now fly through the first Lesmo, trying to keep as much power as he can, moving through this section of the track. He will brake, get through that corner. Looks very slow there, but gets the power down on the exit. No DRS in these wet conditions, so it's all about skill here, people. They will have to use all their skill available in these wet conditions to navigate this very, very difficult track in these wet conditions. These curbs will spit you into the shadow realm and keep you there for the rest of the race if you do not take them with precaution. But now he has flown through Ascari. He now heads on down to the Parabolica. He's rounding the Parabolica now. He will brake, get that power down as soon as he possibly can. It is difficult in these wet conditions. Traction will be all over the place, but he's going towards the line. And is he going to improve? He does. He moves up into P3 with a 1:29.963. The time's looking very close at the top there with these wet conditions, Tony. I mean, the top 5 all within the 1:29. It's just Lee Pastry has that half a second gap to the rest of the grid. Do you think he's going to maintain it moving through quali?
Well, let's be honest. Pretty sure he will, unless somebody else brings an absolute surprise. I think Lou has it all covered. Here we have Smoke Riddle about to start his penultimate lap, or last, depending on how he manages. Wow, he's actually coming to the pit lane. Really weird, odd choice. The rain hasn't stopped since the green flag came out on qualifying. Here you see Obol, who has done a great job on P3. I don't think he's going to have time for one more. So goes for Stevens. Let's see if Phil Skills. Yeah, he's about to go into his last attempt. Will he be able to clutch it at last? We'll find out in just a few short seconds. They're braking very late. And unfortunately, that is going to cost him a lot. That is the end of the lap. I don't even have to watch the rest.
Yeah, that is the end of his lap, yeah. He will definitely have to abandon that one. Will not find any more time moving into that one. That will have cost him so much in that lap. So he will just be trying to put the practice in now. Maybe these wet conditions move into the race. So if I was one of the drivers at this point, I would be getting as much practice as I could. Carrying the pace into these corners, trying to judge my braking point as best I can. But we've got a few people out on outlaps. One of the guys to watch is Regmeister. He is your current championship leader, and I would like to say that it's signed, sealed and delivered. Right now, HDL Trappy hasn't made it to the race, and I think he's pretty much handed the title to Reg. So I think I might be shouting early, but there could be a big congratulations for Reg for becoming the Season 3 title winner here at LSR. I'm sure he will be relishing that fact that he has won another title. I have actually drove with him in another place where he did win the Division 2 title there, had a great season, and it looks like he's had a great one here. I mean, he's had 10 podium spots. I mean, that is some going. He absolutely beats everybody else in the league. I mean, I think if the likes of Lou Pastry, A. Lewis, which you see as Smoked Whittle, Phil, Ryan McLean, I think Stephanie Gunnar the whole time. But I think if them guys were kind of in at the beginning, Reg would have had a bit more of a tougher time up at the top. I'm not saying that HDL Trappy is slow. I've drove against the guy. He has a lot of pace. And it's just a bit unfortunate that he couldn't make it here this evening to really put that challenge on Reg and take that fight maybe into the next race. But looks like it's all signed, sealed and delivered this evening, Tony. But Reg will start his lap now. What is he going to do? He needs to put himself in a good position. He needs to move up into the top three. Pro Stevens is currently sat P3, taking it away from Oberloff Racing, who was in P3. But Alfie and Pro Stevens have took that position away from him. Reg looks like he takes turn 1 and 2 very well, moving on into the Curva Grande now. What are we going to see from Reg? Looks like he's carrying some really good pace through this Monza circuit. He will head on down now to turns 4 and 5. Another place where it can be very easy to hit them curves and get put, as I said before, people, into that shadow realm. But he will now head into the first of the Lesmos, and then he will move into the second one. He will get the power down coming out of the corner, which would be a DRS zone. But as we said before, it is wet conditions. DRS isn't enabled. Tony, I don't know if you actually are aware that in 2026 they're actually introducing active front and rear wings. So
Yes.
they're looking at actually messing about where they can actually do that. During testing, it hasn't been going very well for the drivers. They just can't keep the car on the track. There has been some testing with it, and they just seem to lose the back end. It's just a lot more fiddling for the drivers, I feel. Obviously, moving the front wing and rear wing mid-race, I think you can see a lot more crashes because it's just a lot more to concentrate on. But Reg comes across the line. He does improve.
Not good.
Not by much, and puts himself in P8. But with these wet conditions, he really could make moves. He's just got to hope for the downfall of others. But that is qualifying over, people. We had a lad who snuck in into P2 in the Aston Martin. I'm just going to call him Sly 25. But Lou Pastu has took the qualifying in P1. He has a 29.43. Pro Stevens is currently sat in P3. Oberloff P4. Alfie is in at P5. Ryan McLean, great result for him, in at P6. Phil comes across the line, he's P7. Reg, as we said before, in at P8. Ryan Harris, great lad. I know he commentates on the Division 2 races. I've had the pleasure of doing the comms with him in my own league, so I know he does very well there. We've got Sidek in at P10. Steadbody, unfortunately, out the points, so needs to get back in it to really secure the Constructors' Championship for Team McLaren here this evening. We've got Valhelm in at P12, Joester in at P13, Helvius in at P14. But is that Jorge? In at P15, and I didn't quite catch P16 there. But that is qualifying over, people. That was very interesting quality. Lou Pastu absolutely showing his dominance by beating P2 by more than half a second. What a result that is for Lou, as he is in the YouTube chat. Pull, baby. Yeah, well done, Lou Pastu, on that pole position. So, Tony, I mean, do we have a little 5-minute break now, sir? Obviously, not really caught anything in regards to that. So, do the drivers get a 5-minute break, or are we just straight into the race?
Well, we're going to take just a break, a minute and a half, and we'll be right back with the racing action, ladies and gentlemen. So, we'll see you in just a few short moments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and ready to pull the trigger on round 14. Monza is all ours to enjoy. Keep in mind, the rainy conditions are still more than alive. And here we have the grid ready to rock and roll. The fog lights come out, and the green is on the way. Here we go. Let's see how turn one develops. Lots of wheel spin from all of the Formula One cars on the grid, of course. More than accustomed. There you see the real, oh my God, look at the launch. Oh God!
The Aston Martin absolutely sending it into turn one there, loses out, and he's now dropping down positions. Lou Pasteur holds the lead of this race. He's got Pro Stevens in close behind with A. Lewis in behind him, but as we said, the Aston Martin driver picking up a time penalty there, overshooting his braking point into turn one, and it is really costing, but he's not costing too much, and he's up into P4. Ryan McLean has managed to drag himself up into P5. Oberloff in at P6. There's been a few position changes. Steadbody's managed to gain a position, but Lou Pasteur is now stretching his legs up at the front, trying to build that gap. Two Pro Stevens in behind. Alfie doing a good job so far of keeping it with A. Lewis, but we are early on. We've still got 26 laps of racing to come your way here at LSR, and it should be very interesting. Gratefully, the boys managed to make it through turn one without any safety car. Me and Tony did have a quick chat before the race, and we did think that there was going to be a safety car in turn one, but the lads are doing really, really well so far. First lap is done, and we have avoided a safety car. They are spreading out now a bit, though. Really, there's only a battle between the Lou Pasteur seems to have really secured P1, and then Pro Stevens, A. Lewis, and the Aston Martin driver, and now Ryan McLean getting involved in the battle. Ryan Harris has just done an overtake on Oberloff Racing and puts himself up into P6 behind the Red Bull racer. Steadbody also making steady moves, moves himself up into a good points position in P9. But where is Reg? Reg is in the pits.
Yeah,
what's happened to Reg?
Well, basically, we didn't have a yellow flag, a full course, which means a safety, but we did have a lot of people with damage. That's why you're seeing the gaps open up so much throughout the full grid. And Masha has had to come into the pit lane, so the chances for securing the championship are slimming out already. There's still plenty to go, and let's be honest, if you've seen any of our 3 championships, you know anything can happen here at LSR F1, so we'll find out soon if he can manage to get into the points. Let's go with Ryan McLean catching on Silla. Remember, he has a 3-second penalty for cutting out Variante de la Rota Filia. Now heading into a Scotty, good exit from both. Not gonna lie, they're unrealistic how much they're holding the gears. That in real life would kill you in a minute. This thing would be too much. And the rear would just fly away. Here we're heading into Parabolica. McLean trying to keep himself stable. I don't know if this is the point to use ERS either. But hey, he's trying to stay on the trail. Obviously, slipstream is not as powerful as it could be on drier conditions. And most definitely, drivers are going to have to take care of those wet compounds. If we take a look at the tires used by all drivers, there's not a single intermediate compound. It is all wet. As we see McLean trying to make a little Silla, who has made a mistake through Variante Liberati Figlio for the second time in a row. McLean goes through with ease, and we're getting a trade-off between Schleikek and Obolf Racing. Obolf not able to reclaim the P7. Schleikek goes through fantastically well as they head on into the Lesmos. Let's see how the fight continues.
Yeah, heading through the Lesmos. Sidejet before that, managing to get 2 drivers, went past Steadbody and Oberloff. But just an update on Reg. Reg does still have wing damage. He has no front end plate, so feel that he kind of missed a trick there, and the game hasn't changed his front wing. So Reg is going to struggle a lot through this race now if he doesn't pit again, but pitting again is going to cost him a hell of a lot of time. He might as well just retire. I mean, another pit stop, you could definitely see him getting lapped here, Tony. I mean, that's the trouble with this game. It doesn't really recognise damage, and you shouldn't have to tell the game to change your wing. You really shouldn't. He's got no front end. He's got no end plate. It should change it for him. But no, he's 24 seconds back. But Seville doing well. He's still managing to hold P5. He hasn't lost a few positions from this race start, as we've seen in turn 1 on lap 1, when just absolutely sent it, totally missed his braking point and lost out. We've got more wings off in the background. Who was that? And let me just try and check who's lost an end plate, as we've just seen an end plate flying off. Well, I have on my screen anyway, and I just can't see who it is, but someone has definitely lost another front end plate of their vehicle, and we could definitely see another pitter moving on into this race. But not much is happening now, people. There's not many battles going on. We've got Alfie, who is trying to keep onto the back of Pro Stevens up at the front, but Lou Pasture showing his dominance here. 1.5 second gap to Pro Stevens. If he can stay consistent in this race, in these tricky wet conditions, he can definitely take the race win here. But don't hold your breath on that one, people, because as Tony said, anything can happen in these wet conditions. Ryan McLean having a stellar race so far, up into P4. Ryan Harris as well, he's moved himself up into P5. Everybody's still in the points, but I think the constructors may go to another week, but I still feel Reg can take the championship with HDL Trapping not being there. I don't think it really matters whether Reg gains points or not. I think that title is definitely going to be handed to him at the end of this race. But it's calming down now, Tony, and they seem to all be settling in, as we just see there that Phil, it must have been Phil who picked up that wing damage, and he's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane.
And we're seeing some great action here on Variante del Ratifiglio, a 4-man battle. Oh my God, what was that between Silla and Evolve? Big contact, somebody pushing one another off. Certainly things you do not want to see. Not gonna lie, Monza, the easiest track on the calendar by a long shot. Rain making it a little tougher, but good to see drivers handling the rain pretty nicely. Silla cutting another corner just like nothing. Welcome, Josh, to the broadcast. Nice to see you here. And of course, now that we are close to entering the 6th lap of the race, let us know, who do you think is going to win this one? Right now, Lou Pasteur looks like has everything going for him. The pace has been immaculate, keeping Mr. Stevens on a second and more of a gap. Right now, looking close to 2, and it ain't stopping now. Whittle and Stevens are going to get in the battle sooner than later, and this is just going to make matters worse for these two, and make it even easier for Lou, who's having a tremendous race. The only problem for him is traffic might be on its way sooner than we expect. We can see a couple more incidents.
Yeah, definitely. If we see some more incidents here with people losing wings, then pit stops really do cost you in a race. As you can see from both Reg and Phil, Reg seems to be really having trouble. Phil is catching Reg by a lot. He's managing to stay with him. He is on the fresher tyres compared to Reg. But there is a very interesting battle going on at the back. We've got Steadbody, who's up into P7 now, doing well for Team McLaren. He's on the back of Cejek and Obloff, but Seville, it's just gone downhill from him since lap 1. Since that turn 1, he's just dropped positions, losing positions each lap, and he's just surrendering. But I would just like to say a massive hello to Josh in the chat. Just a mad lap myself, which I'll be posting soon. How's the race been so far? And Quali, well, Quali, Lou Pasture took Quali by nearly half a second, and as you can see from this, he's doing very well. Any chance of inters at the end? I haven't seen the weather skis, lad, but I mean, if this rain lightens up, we could definitely see some inters thrown onto the cars, and they will be going a lot quicker because you definitely get some grip. They are definitely the better wet tyre for these F1 cars. But yeah, Josh, it's really nice to see you WOR races, so it's really good to see you joining us this evening. I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're doing really, really well. But yeah, very interesting race. It's kind of got a bit of a lull now. As you can see, the grid is splitting out up at the top. We've got Steadbody and Sidejet nearly going side by side through turns one. Oh, they are side by side through turns 1 and 2, but Steadbody gets the better exit. But that welcomes in Oberloff behind. Is he going to go on the attack with these two as the battling? Sidejet pulls out. Is he going to go side by side with Steadbody? No, he allows Steadbody to go through. It would be very, very silly of these boys to be going side by side in the corners in these wet conditions. It could cost them a lot, but they're going to try it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this.
A bit of contact going through the first leg more, but Sidejet lets go into the second one, but that now puts Oberloff, and Sidejet's nearly into the wall there. That nearly cost him massively. It's a bit of contact from Oberloff, and nearly loses out in the race massively. Man, did really well to catch it there, Tony.
He did well, but he needs to calm down. That is one of the problems I think we've seen with the drivers overall through the championship. Patience is not there. They need to have a more patient mindset. They still have 20 laps to go. Just focus on your own pace. Do not force stupid mistakes that can carry you to damage, as we see. Smoked Whittle having to cut. Oh my God, the rejoin. For the love of God, what was that rejoin? You cannot do that. That was really bad. He gets a big penalty, 6 seconds to be exact, and certainly you cannot be rejoining the track like that. You kill somebody, for God's sakes. Steadbody and Oberloff getting a little closer to one another. Somebody has been pretty clean so far, not looking for the smoke, and just as I say so, he nearly punts Oberloff on the rear. We'll find out what he can do, but again, right now, this is a patience game. Run your own pace. Don't look at anybody else. Everybody's going to have to pit. Everybody's going to have to get recovered. Play around the strategy because the wet compound.
That's the Martin's round in the background. He's gone into the wall. That will be a safety car. That's got to be. No, it's only a virtual. He's lost his tyre and everything, I think. That's Seville, as we said, has had a poor race so far. Did have a really good quality, and there we see on the screen, people have got Tony's not got the track map up, but the safety car is coming out, so now the race will be nullified. This is going to help Reg and Phil. Safety car is out. That Aston Martin lost it through, I think it was through the second Lesmo, and he stepped out on that curve on the left hand side. And as we all know, people, you hit them curbs, you are straight into that shadow realm. And he lost his front tyre and is out of this one. Very unfortunate for him. But now we are under safety car conditions. It still says virtual, but the safety car is out on track. And everybody is into the pits, apart from Helvius. Helvius taking a big risk there, I feel, Tony.
Well, to be honest, I don't think it's a risk. You know, the tires can still go for 7-8 more laps, and let's be honest, this has happened on every single race for the last. Oh, we've got another retirement. What's happened? Wilhelm, I think, has just parked it on the pit lane. Didn't want to do it no more. And what I was gonna say, you know, still the wet compound has a ton of lifespan, and I think you can make good use of it. You know, considering that in every single race of the 3 championships we've done in Division 1, we have had safety car in the moment we restart. In the space of 1, 2, 3 laps, another safety car has come out. So I don't think it's that risky. It's just playing his cards right. Let's see if it's going to make it work. Pace-wise, he hasn't lived up to the leaders. And of course, Lou is going to be right there on the tail to push forward and to try and challenge him for the lead. But let's be honest, if we were scared of a standing start in turn 1 approaching, I think this is even more scary, because with the wheel spin, especially with the low visibility the drivers are having to handle, this could become pandemonium.
Yeah, definitely, but I'm going to go opposite than what you feel with Helvius. I mean, the fresher tyres in this F1 game are absolutely brilliant. You do get a lot more grip than the person in front of you. I know that from experience with racing with Regmeister. He made the same mistake I feel that Helios has made. And I went onto the fresher compounder tyres. Fresher tyres, sorry, not the fresher compound, but the fresher tyres, and Reg lost out massively being out on those old compounds. I know they're only 9 laps old and they probably still have a lot of life in them, but these people that have pitted, they're going to have so much more braking ability than Helvius. Even though it is these wet conditions, Helvius is just going to have to brake that little bit earlier, which is going to throw Lou past you into a bit more caution into turn 1 if he can't get past Helios on that safety car restart. But as we said, safety car restarts can be very treacherous. I know it myself, Tony. I've seen it myself. They can really cause havoc. You can have a good, clean race. You know, you might have little bits of contact here and there. But as soon as you see that first safety car into turn 1, or even a couple of turns after, genuinely speaking, there is another safety car. So let's hope and keep our fingers crossed, people, that that doesn't happen here this evening. Tony has a safety car friend, finally.
Yeah, thank you, Spencer. You know, I was waiting for that one. You know, I think there's nothing I love more about a simulator than a safety car. Most certainly. You know, you people know I'm the sim guy. I want my racing to be real guy. And let's be honest, I think we would have seen half the grid dead by now. By the way, these guys are hitting the curves, but most especially how hard they're going on the paint. I don't know if you people know, but wet paint is some of the most slippery surface you'll ever find. And let's be honest, surprising to see only one car crashing out. Wilhelm just went into the pit lane and said, hell no. He didn't want to have any more. We're going to have one more lap under the safety and we will go green again. I hope you're having a good time here with us, of course. If you'd like to hit that follow button, the first one who does it is going to become the 600th member on our YouTube channel. So lovely.
So come on, people, smash that follow button. As Tony said, get it followed and then throw your name in the chat. When you see that 600 spot, let us know who you are. And we will definitely give you a big shout out for becoming that 600 person. But yeah, Helvius does have the lead in this race under the safety car, but I definitely feel, as Josh says in the chat, that Lou Pasteur is going to get him into turn 1 or into turn 4. I already follow. Oh, Apocalyptic Weasel, well, no.
You're number 600 then, because when I started the stream, it was $5.99, so hey. Happy birthday. No, I'm joking. Oh, we dropped. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tony, but
yeah, stream just died.
There we go, it's back, it's back.
Are we back, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Sorry, we just had a little mishap. But I was saying before we just went down, my God, I did not see that coming. Fuel Skills got a drive-through because he was standing too far back. Wow, oh, damn. When you think this game is as unrealistic as it is. Well?
Because Reg is currently behind Phil, so if Phil was too far back, that meant Reg was obviously too far back. So the game,
but on the relative,
I feel like it's screwed Phil there.
Well, to be honest, not because if you keep in mind it's relative to the car in front, so maybe that's why it happened. But ladies and gentlemen, time for games or no more. We're gonna go again with the restart. It's gonna be Helvius Cameron is going on the power, and as you can see, he has gone as early as he could. Oh my God, we nearly had contact before we crossed the line. A 3-1 momentarily didn't go the way he was surely hoping to do so. Here we have Stevens and Lou battling for that P2 side-by-side action on the rear, and it's looking chaotic. My God, that McLean. That was McLean, and we're getting a yellow. What has happened? Oh, it's cleared. It's clear, which is good to see. And as you said, Lou Pascu didn't even need to get into turn number 4. He is already through. Oh my God, the contact is actually going to try to step outside. Smoke Twiddle completely cut in the corner. What is happening in here, for the love of God? A 10-second penalty will cut in the whole second variante. And on the back, we got a 3 wide. This is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. And it ain't stopping now. I sincerely hope you're enjoying the great commentary. Your good bud Taz is given to you. I gotta say, he's doing a pretty good job.
But yeah, we got the McLaren of Steadbody. He's done well after that safety car restart up into P5. We've got a caution in sector 3. There is a a Ferrari. That's Alfie losing out there, going off track, and that's cost him heavily. Phil is right at about 23 seconds back after I think he may have got some contact.
Oh God!
His drive-through. He got a drive-through.
Oh, and also a plate going down. My God, what is happening on bottom? Only got through one. Oh my God! What are these people doing? They're going crazy right now. I told you, once we get the restart, things get crazier than ever. Again, we're heading to the first variante. There is contact. Another plate flying all over the place. Look at the inside line there from just a little forced, and he's gonna make contact with the Red Bull. And look what's happened on the lead, ladies and gentlemen. That is Stevens taking the lead from Lou, but Lou's gonna try to bring it back as we approach second variante. Again, another yellow flag being thrown out, but it is clear.
Yeah, definitely. But Lou Pascu losing out to Pro Stevens there. Pro Stevens doing a great job after the safety car restart. Alfie has actually retired from the race, retired in the pit lane. Feel like that move into turn 1 cost him heavily, or was it turn 2? But either way, it has cost him heavily, and he is now out of this race, leaving 13 drivers on track currently. Ryan Harris doing an absolutely great job with his Alpha Tauri teammate. Both currently sat P2 and 3. Oberloff has moved himself up into P5 after the pit stop. He's doing really well. As we said, Steadbody is as well, but moving further down, Regmeister is trying to get his way up the pack. He is on the back of Helvius after Helvius hasn't pitted as of yet, and I feel like him not pitting under the safety car really has cost him here, and he has dropped down all the way to P8, and he will become under attack from Regmeister. Regmeister going for it. Helvius defending, but Reg pulls out. They're alongside each other, side by side. They're going to be into turn 1. Who's going to come out on top in this one? Reg will be able to break that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Helvius a bit, takes the lead, takes P8 away from Helvius into turn 1. And moves himself up into P8, and now he's going to look to chase down Ryan McLean, who is 2.3 seconds up the road, but that is going to be a tall order for Reg, as 2.3 seconds in these wet conditions is a lot to gain. But I'm going to move back up to the top. Ryan Harris has just dropped off now. He's 1.5 seconds behind the leading 2. Lou Pascu has managed to get the lead of this race back, and he is now under pressure from Pro Stevens. Could see these lads definitely swapping positions through this race if they can keep it clean. As you can see, Pro Stevens just pulling out there so he doesn't get all that spray and doesn't get his visual blocked by all that spray from Lou Pascu, who has done an absolutely brilliant job in this race. Lou Pascu goes wide there, and that could invite Pro Stevens on the attack, but Lou just got the better exit there. So we'll move on down. We've got Oberloff, who's looking to put Steadbody under pressure. He's half a second back from Steadbody. Sidejet keeping it with both Oberloff and Steadbody. This is going to be a very interesting battle from these 3 cars. They've been battling all the way through this race so far. Ryan McLean, after the turn 1 incident, has dropped down to P7, and he's looking to make his way back up the grid. Is he going to be able to do it moving on in this race? As Sidejet is going side by side with Oberloff. This could be a disaster into turn 1. They both give each other the respect. Small contact made through turn 1, but they both make it through. Ryan McLean is right on the back of them now, looking to put them both under pressure. We could see, no, they've just all settled in, thought they was going to go for the side-by-side action there, but McLean is putting mad pressure on Oberloff. He's gone past, he's into P6. Oberloff fights it back, there's contact.
God, a 3 wide.
There's wheel rubbing, both magnetised together there, trying to pull off each other. But Ryan McLean, it's still going instead, but he's gone wide. This invites McLean in. And
Oh
McLean
my
takes the,
God.
God, the ghost in here. That could have been a massive crash. But Tony, I'll leave it to you now, brother. Take over, pal.
Well, what can I say? These people are smoking something I like to have. Oh my God, the blinking! My Lord! Step body with a very sudden internet issue. You can see him there just teleporting all over the place. I'm gonna be a little harsh on Helvius. I think the strategy could have worked, but he's not putting the lap times he should. We've seen him make a lot of mistakes on their braking, and I don't think that is related to the tire. I think he's just lost a little bit of focus. And look at that, from first to 11th. More penalties coming our way, and I think that is our safety car number 2. Ryan McLean.
In the pit lane.
Oh, he was in the pit lane, so it's good. Well, let me tell you, somebody thought it was a safety car and came in immediately. Unfortunately, that did not work out. I am sorry for that person, because that's gotta suck.
Yeah, that's Jorge. He's gone into the pits. I think he really needed to. He's in there quite a while. Maybe getting a wing change there. But jump on board. No, he's back. No, it's not Jose. It's Jorge. Yeah, so he definitely had a wing change there. Picked up some damage and now back out on track. Good to see him continuing on. I'd love to see people that actually continue races, even though they lose out, may get good damage. It shows great sportsmanship and great race integrity to keep continuing on in these difficult conditions, knowing that you've dropped back really far. But Regmeister is in at P6, doing well after this safety car restart, and he is on the back of Oberloff Racing. Is he going to put pressure on him down the straight to take that position away from him? We'll stay on board for this one as Oberloff gets a bit of a slide on the exit. That will welcome in Reg, but he's not going on the tack. As we can see, Lou Pasture has really lost out at the top. He's kind of dropped back off Pro Stevens, nearly a second at one point, and Pro Stevens has took the lead of this race on lap 17. I think he took it maybe on lap 16, but he's doing a great job of holding P1 so far. This is really the only interesting battle going on at the minute, with these two battling out. Regmeister has managed to get Oberloff into turn 1. Yes, he has, and gets past him and moves on up into P5, and he's going to look now to get side check. Reg using these tyres really well, showing good pace on these wet tyres. I thought it would have been a bit of a struggle for him to catch Ryan McLean when he was 2.3 seconds back, but showing really good pace. But him and Oberloff going side by side, potentially a bit of contact before the corner. But Reg keeps that position.
And I told you, anything can happen. I told you, he was dead last, no chance in hell. Safety car just brings him back to life. And right now holds P5. On the lead, Felix and Luna keeping themselves quite close to one another, as you can see here. Reckmeister using lots of ERS to try and open the gap a little further. Schleigert with another penalty added on the board. That's going to be a 3. Second penalty for him. We got Stebody with a 3, Ian Beale with a 3. And the 4 drivers who have retired also had penalties. So, unfortunately, race hasn't gone too well for some of them. And here we have side-by-side action. Lou and Pro Stevens going at it, heading into Variante del Ratifiglio. As we enter lap number 18, 10 to go. You can see the Alfa Romeo going for the out of line, turning into the inside for the exit of the chicane. Still fantastic driving from Lou, who manages to keep it ahead. That is how you do it. But still, Steven saying backing down from nothing. It is dead on side by side. You can see how close these two are, millimeters away from disaster. But it is going to be Stevens for the moment being keeping the possession. Step body went A mid corner and gave me damage. Welcome to F123, my friend.
But Lou Pasture has managed to take the race lead back from Pro Stevens. They are having a really good battle up at the top. This is great to see in these wet conditions. Great respect shown from both drivers, allowing the space for one another. But Pro Stevens looks like he could potentially be going on the attack. He may wait after going through Ascari. If he gets a great exit through going through here, he may go on the attack again on Lou Pascu down the straight to the Parabolica. As you can see from Lou Pascu getting a bit squiggly on the exit of the corner there. But Ryan Harris having a great race here in P3. Kind of a bit of a lonely race, to be honest. He's 3.1 seconds clear of Sajek in at P4. Regmeister doing the best he can to try and close that gap to Sajek, but Sajek keeping consistent. Yes, he has them penalties, but the consistency is showing through, and he's managing to maintain that gap. Oberloff doing a great job of managing to stick with Reg, but I feel he's gone into the pits. Yes, he has. Oberloff into the pit lane. We'll definitely see a change of tyres. I'm going to stay on board with him to see what he does here. Yep, it just looks like a change of tyres for him, so he will have the pace going into these final 8 laps that are coming your way this evening. As we were saying before, the gap has kind of, you know, the race has kind of settled down now. Gaps at least, I mean, the biggest gap is 6 seconds, and then Helvius is 28 seconds behind P9 after going into the pits, after, as I said earlier on, making the mistake of not pitting under the safety car has really cost him, and is now in at P10. But Prost, Lou Pascu, since taking the lead of the race on the last race, doing a great job of holding P1. But Prost Stevens doing an even better job of being able to stick with him and really taking the fight to Lou Pascu. So these two are going to have a very interesting race moving on through these laps. Any little mistake from these guys could really cost them positions up at the front. So let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that they don't, and we get the interesting and very, very fun racing from these two guys up at the front. And let's hope they show the respect as well into all the corners. But yeah, really settled down now. The gap's getting bigger and bigger. The only battle we have is really Prost Stevens and Lou Pascu, Tony.
Indeed, and there you see Stevens dropping some ERS, getting closer. Not enough to challenge for a position, but right now I think it would be advisable to just stay behind Lou, save Robert, and definitely not do that. Do not over rev the engine. You're gonna blow it at any given second if you keep doing that. I don't know if that's actually a thing in Formula One, but
I've never seen it, to be honest. I've never seen it in any league race that I've either commentated in or raced in. But Helvius, obviously on the newer rubber, sets the fastest lap with a 1:31.440. So currently he will take that fastest lap point, which will help him points wise. He's P9 currently. Hopefully he can gain a few more positions, but he's 6 seconds off the back of Oberloff Racing. Oberloff Racing was having a really good race, and now in at P8 after a great start, losing out, and we have 7 laps of racing to come your way. Paul Stevens right on the back of Lou Pascu, looking to use the ERS and go side by side, but just settles in behind as they move through the Parabolica. And they will now head down the straight.
Yeah, Lou knows what he's doing. He's keeping himself very stable. There you see, Stevens actually wants to take the lead, and I don't know if this is the right choice. I think this is just a big waste of ERS. You still have 7 laps to go. Why would you use so much ERS on just one corner when right now Luke could just overturn it and bring it back to you? And as you can see, Luke's not even using the ERS at all. He's just waiting behind, keeping himself calm, and that is something that I personally think might bring him the victory. Wow, he just completely locked up and made the corner like nothing. That's crazy. And something you said before that actually surprised me, because I actually thought that wasn't allowed. Like, the game didn't allow that. You have automatic shifting?
There is automatic gears. Me personally, I do automatic gears. I am on controller, so it is a lot more difficult. When I make the transfer to wheel, I will be going onto the manual gears, as I feel it will be a bit easier on the wheel, as you do have the flappy paddles behind it. So I feel like I'll be able to control the gears a bit more, but on controller, it's just a bit too much for me. 36. My reactions ain't quite as good, what they used to be. But yeah, I mean, I've got mad respect for Lou Pasture. He is a controller player, and the pace that this kid has is absolutely ridiculous. Most of the drivers that we have in our league up in Division 1, where Lou is on wheel, we do have a couple of others that are on controller as well, and the pace that they have on controller, I'm just in awe of, and the control of the car as well that they have with the controller, really great to see. But Pro Stevens has a bit of a poor exit on turn 2, which invites Lou to go on the charge. And
oh god, he goes on the grass. What was that?
yeah.
That was a little weird indeed. And well, you know, talking about the controls, since the move has already been completed, and I don't think it's going to be challenged anytime soon. Wouldn't it be actually easier to drive a controller this with all the help, all the assist you have, traction exposed or something, even though the real car does not have control. You don't use it?
No, I don't. That's the only assist that I do use is ABS and traction, ABS and automatic gears.
Yeah, but I think the ABS is actually a mechanic that I'm sure even the pros use. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, a lot of people. I have spoken to a lot of fast drivers, and a lot of them do say that, you know, it's pretty much useless in this game. There's pretty much no difference to the braking. Obviously, you can lock up a bit more, but you might as well just use the ABS on this game. I mean, I don't know if you ever seen F122. The mechanics on that game was absolutely atrocious. The traction control was ridiculous. I mean, trying to get the traction down, it was a nightmare. You had to be very highly skilled with a controller in F122, as the game mechanics were just, they weren't there. But luckily they made big improvements with that into 23, even though we still have a lot of problems with F123 in regards to safety car starts and other glitches.
Yeah,
where
remember
time penalties.
Yeah, remember at the beginning of the championship we had a formation lap, and it completely killed the whole lobby. And one of the things that I see even the pro drivers do, which, not gonna lie, to me, coming from a way different side than just Formula One itself, so I come from simulators like iRacing and stuff. I see everybody, there's no exception, everybody locks up, and they actually get more grip by locking up. That's something that I'm still not used to, and I've been seeing this for 3 seasons. Not gonna lie, it's I guess it's a mechanic that people can use, because you lock up and it just goes like nothing. You can still turn without any issues, and I think we might have a safety. I don't know. Phil Scales.
Phil's retired in the pits.
In the pits? Thank God.
I don't know.
That's another thing. Why you put a yellow flag when it's in the pit lane? That's ridiculous.
Exactly. It's stupid. It should just recognise it. I don't know why it pushed. I mean, this could cause trouble. As long as Lou Pasture and Pro Stevens get past Phil before he comes out, I mean, the game spits the car back out, which can cause problems for the race. I mean, you can see with Ryan Harris now, he's just gone past Phil. But if that car was on the inside, it could really cause problems for the drivers.
That's crazy.
We had it in a race at Mexico, where it really caught some of the drivers out, especially into turn 1, as it retires the car in between turns 1 and 2, I think. And I think we had it caused a crash, which did eventually bring out a safety car. But Pro Stevens doing a really good job of keeping it with Lou Pasture after going onto the grass and basically surrendering the position to Lou. As we see Phil there, he has now left the session. But Pro Stevens gets a better exit than Lou Pasture. Is he going to go on the attack here? Lou's defending with his life here to maintain this P1. And yeah, he maintains it, moving through Ascari, which is great to see from Lou Pasture. Big fan of his, as I said before, really good driver. Got a lot of talent with a controller against some wheel drivers. But honestly, mate, I have mad respect for every driver that comes and drives in these conditions, very tricky conditions to navigate, especially in such a high-speed track. of Monza. As we were saying before, not many corners in the dry, beautiful track to race. Turn 1 is the most treacherous. It's where you will probably get most of your contact. Turns 1 and 2 is the most treacherous part of Monza track. I do feel maybe the Dello Ruggia, if that's how you pronounce
La
it.
Roccia, de la Roccia.
Roccia. There we go. That could be another place, obviously, where they pick up contact, but Pro Stevens just dropped off the back a bit of Lou Pasteur, allowing himself a bit of breathing space in behind Lou. But as we were saying before, he could have cost himself really this race, bleeding the ERS to try and get past Lou Pasteur down the straight. But I just want to give Ryan Harris a big mention here. He's had a bit of a lonely race. He's managed to keep it in P3. He's dropped 5 seconds behind the lead too, and he's got Sajek still. He's managed to keep a 2.5 second gap to him, but Regmeister is now right on the back of Sajek. He was nearly 2 seconds back, but he is going to close him down. Is he going to be able to move up to P4 after basically having to pit again? He lost his front left end plate, and he was all the way at the back fighting with Phil Skills, and he's now up into P5 after that safety car. He's done really well, and he looks like he's pushing hard. He does have a healthy amount of ERS left for the last lap to try and go on the attack.
Well, let's see if he can do it. 2 laps to go. Meister. How is he going faster? Actually losing complete traction. The ERS certainly helping right now. Could he go for a dive? The paint not affecting the braking. But that is a big mistake from Schleicher. And I think, oh no! Great much nearly had it.
Little bit of contact there. Sajek losing it in turn 2, goes very wide. Compromise turn 1, compromise turn 2, and then Reg looked like he was going to go for the overtake, but Sajek just manages to get the power down and keep that P4. We all know that he does have time penalties and he will lose that position to Reg. But Reg, as we all know, as we all feel, we want to win it on track. We don't want to lose, we don't want to win it on penalties. Every F1 driver can agree with me, I'm sure they can, that you want to win the race, gain a position on track rather than through penalties. But we're at the penultimate lap now.
A position is a position. Hey, if you get a penalty because you're not driving correctly. Oh, and very humble. That's the commentator curse, man. You'll learn. You'll get it. The more you do it, the more you'll see it. Here we go. Last lap about to begin.
And Lou Pasteur has the lead of this race. I'm going to stay on board with Lou to see if he can hold this position. He's built a second gap. He's using his ERS to his advantage. He has saved it all for this last lap to build the gap to Pro Stevens. Barring any mistakes, this could be Lou's race win here at Monza as he gets a good exit out of turn 2 and is pulling away from Pro Stevens. Pro Stevens struggling. He will be bleeding the ERS as well to keep with Lou Pasteur, but Lou Pasteur doing a stellar job stretching that. Instead, Body picks up another 3-second time penalty there. That may cost him a position to Helvius. No, it won't. He's 13 seconds behind, so it could cost him a position to Oberloff. I don't know how many seconds of time penalty he's actually got, but Lou Pasteur has absolutely blown this race away. It's been a bit of a fight from him and Pro Stevens, switching P1 and P2 from lap, I'd say like lap 19 to lap 23, and then Lou Pasteur, after Pro Stevens made a mistake and went on the grass, has not looked back since, and he is going to take the win here. He's going up to the Parabolica now, and you can't say any more than we've already said for this young lad. He rounds the Parabolica, very treacherous, taking it nice and easy. And here he comes, he's going to come up to the line, and Lou Pasteur is going to win the race at Monza. What a victory for Lou Pasteur. Pro Stevens comes across the line in P2. Ryan Harris, again, a great race, taking P3 here this evening. Regmeister did get P4 on track. A great result for him. Them points will mean that he has won the LSR Season 3 Division 1 Championship, and I'm absolutely honoured to be able to say that in my first commentary here at LSR. Really enjoyed this race. I want to say a big massive thank you to Tony for allowing me to join him here this evening. What a race we have had. We've lost, 5 drivers, but nonetheless we've had contact, we've had overtakes, and it's been an absolute pleasure, sir.
Well, hey, all I have to say is the same. I think I've done a very good job at letting you take the spotlight. It has been a pleasure hearing you, and not gonna lie, I'm really hoping to see you more and more on LSR streams, because kid, you got a future, man. You're good. You know what you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, with this, we are gonna wrap it up. Thank you very much to everybody who has watched. Congratulations to Rick Meister for the championship. 13 viewers, thank you very much, and we wish you all a great Thursday night. See you next time.
Yeah, take care, people.